Hello there, and welcome to Fans Discussing Fandoms. My name is Patrick.
And my name's Tim.
What are we talking about today, Tim?
The next thing is something I'm really excited about because my boy is finally getting more content. Is a brand new movie for Hellboy.
Yeah.
So it's called Hellboy the Crooked Man, based on the three-issue comic, The Crooked Man, where Hellboy goes into a haunted town, village, talks with the guy. The guy made a deal with the devil, and the devil has come to take the guy, collect on the deal. And so Hellboy is there to, defend him against the devil, and solve this eerie, cursed town type of mystery that the dude is involved in with him making a deal to the devil. And that is being turned into a movie, which recently got a trailer. And for me, the trailer looks very much like it's keeping that idea of haunted village, creepy, eerie, like witch town type of village. It has the Crooked Man in the woods, and you see a shot of the trailer where you see his head snap to the right, which is in the comic. That's what he looks like. He's like an old looking dude with his head snapped to the right and a big old smile. So it looks like they're keeping that and they're remaining faithful to the idea of the Crooked Man, the idea of having a creepy, eerie village. They also have some Mo Hoover elements because there's a part of the comic where there's a girl that the dude was seduced by, and the girl was a demon who was sent there by the devil. There's something to do with a host. I don't remember fully, but there's a host involved with the girl, and something happens with them at the end of the story, and you see the girl and the host in the trailer.
They get together?
No, it's a lot more twisted
Oh,
that
what?
happens. Yeah, I think I won't say anything because I don't want to spoil anything in case they
Okay.
do it in the movie. But it's real twisted what happens with the host and the girl.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looks like they're keeping all that and they're remaining faithful to the big themes of the story of the comic. And they have some other Hoover elements as well, which I like in the trailer.
And I think I agree with you on the front of the movie itself looks like it's really good. The quality, the graphics, I was gonna say earlier, the visual effects, the stunts, they look interesting and they look good. The only gripe I have is Hellboy. It just doesn't quite.
And this isn't
Yeah.
us comparing him to Ron Perlman or the dude from Stranger Things, because they are very much the stocky version of Hellboy. And this movie is very much going for the slimmer version of the character.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's for me it was the shape of his face. I think with the shape of his head with the cosmetics make it also look for me kind of like the one shape of the head that you find on a me character, that it's almost it's like a topaz. If you know what that looks
Oh
like,
yeah.
it's like a teardrop gem. Really big and spherical in the top, and then it kind of comes to a bit of a point in the center, but it's really wide around the cheeks. For me, that looks a little off. I don't think that's a product of the actor's head. I think it's because with the cosmetics, the sides of his face look wider than it actually is, and the placement of the facial hair, which the facial hair works. It's just, I don't know.
I like the idea of a slimmer Hellboy, and I
Yeah.
like that idea of us seeing a slimmer version of the character because not most, but I would say half of the comics are him drawn in the slim manner, and then the other half is big and stocky. So I like the idea of seeing a comic accurate slimmer version of him, and I think the hones look good, and I think the snippets of action we got in the trailer did look good, where he cocked the gun or there was a shot of flies covering his face.
Mm-hmm.
I think those moments looked really good, and him in action looks really good. And seeing him, seeing the slimmer version of him doing detective stuff and standing up against, the monsters and hover threats that he faces, I think could look really good. Because that's the thing, too. Aside from this, if you have seen Hellboy live action, you've seen him as this big, stocky character standing next to other monsters in like big government led missions with like government agents and like him working with the BPRD and their full like jackets and uniforms and like he's in the city. So he's in like buildings being thrown out of the buildings. None of that is in this. This is the
Mhm.
complete opposite of all that. Because, you know, we're not in the city, we're in a small local village. He's not stocky, he's slimmer. He doesn't have fellow monsters by his side. It's just him in this movie. So it is like this movie is introducing a lot of new things for a live action Hellboy.
Yeah.
And I think that is a factor of why people are being thrown off by this trailer and by this movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
What do you think of Hellboy, the Crooked Man trailer?
I'm actually really intrigued by it. I know I gave him a little bit of comment on the thoughts of like how Hellboy looks himself, but like I think I'm definitely looking forward to seeing like this movie, like obviously come out and watching it because I think I was taken a bit by surprise for it to be focused much more on like a horror element. It
Yep.
looks like they're really building on that, and that's not a medium that I've really seen Hellboy in. I know like it's the live actions that I've seen. Actually, no, I've seen. I would say no, I haven't seen all live actions because they did that reboot with that other character. Sorry, the other
Yep.
actor.
Which
Um,
was actually good.
yeah,
It was bad at times, but it had some good moments.
yeah. I haven't seen it, but having seen like the original live action films, you're not used to seeing it in like a horror kind of lens. It's obviously a more
Yep.
high octane, it's much more action, it's got a lot more comedy. But then there's some like thrilling and maybe I would say definitely uneasy elements that really pull in those like I wouldn't say horror elements, but definitely things from those kinds of environments. Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't much horror, but it did have like, you know, other monsters for him to interact with and fight against.
Yeah, it was much more of like an adventure kind of film,
Yeah.
which, you know, is a nice thing on its own, but I kind of expect, especially since we played the board game for Hellboy, um I'm kind of expecting more of that like investigation slash like horror elements. Yes, the board game was a bit of an adventure as well, but
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting like what they showed in this film, where it was kind of like a small town investigation. Some witch actually kind of reminds me of his like a supernatural episode.
Episode?
Yeah, like where they go
Yeah.
to investigate some supernatural thing. Obviously, this is a lot more high budget, but I think it's really cool. And obviously, it's not going to be as comedic. Maybe do I want? Is he usually comedic
Well,
in the
it could still be
comics?
comedic.
Yeah,
Like he's very dry
yeah.
sense of humor in the comics.
Mm,
Yeah, I know I'm also very much looking forward to it because I also, aside from the like his main comic series that you know has like 4 books to it, that has those big world-ending threats and such,
hmm
there are like dozens of 3, 4, 5 issue stories where it feels like an episode of, you know, a Saturday night cartoon where it is just him going out and dealing with a werewolf
hmm
or going out and dealing with a vampire or just, you know, helping out a friend and investigating a village and hunting down the witch in the village. Or maybe it's the opposite and he's defending the witch from being killed by the villagers.
Almost like being The Witcher.
Yeah, and like he has these very small scale stories where he's just investigating and helping somebody out. And I like that idea for a movie. I
hmm
like the idea of following him on just one of his side quests, aside from, you know, the big main threat that he's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go do the side quest real quick. I'll be back to you later. And just following him going to a normal village, helping out, a villager and getting him out of a deal he made with Satan. Like, I think that's really cool. And, the comic was great. The comic was amazing, and I highly recommend the comic.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that idea for a Hellboy movie. So I think it could be really cool and a really good take on the character. But I think it looks really good. And I'm just excited for more Hellboy content.
Yeah.
And especially a very new and drastic type of Hellboy content. Because the boy deserves it. Come on. Especially after the last movie, the boy deserves some good content.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Anything else?
I think that's it for me.
So that was today's episode. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for joining us today. Check out our Instagram. We do daily stories recommending new things in pop culture, some niche things, friends who have done some cool stuff. Check out our other Spotify episodes. We put out one every once in a while. And also check out our YouTube where we put up music videos, which it's just, tributes to characters or shows or games, tributes to things in pop culture with like clips and audio and music all done in a good and entertaining way. And we will see you all in the next one.
Goodbye.